help me with this, because I've led organizations, I led teams. I want to communicate to the people that worked for me that they can do anything, because that helps the system. What is the political motivation behind trying to convince people that you are powerless? I don't understand that as a leader. It doesn't compute for me, because then I get a team that.
Well, if you're dependent on the government for your answers, then you're waiting on them to give you something, and the ones that give you something are the ones you vote for. And so, that's why we just tell people all the time, what happens in your house is so much more important than what happens in the White House. And so, if you're waiting on the Alzheimer's patient in charge to get you out of this, you're screwed.
I hate that idea that we're just telling generations of people you can't make it.
That's why I did this. That's why, because the hope stealers are out there.
Yeah,
they're stealing people's hope, and it made me angry.
Yeah.
And I also was running into these baby steps millionaires everywhere, like that guy that called earlier. And he said, I started 30 years ago. I called you, and you told me to get rid of my car and get on a budget. And here I am 30 years later with $2 million net worth. I'm a baby steps millionaire. I followed the baby steps. And, oh, by the way, my kids are on the same track now, so it's generational change, Or
Sanjeev reminds me of the international students I used to work with that came and just their eyes would light up and say, look at all of the opportunity. What are you doing? Work hard.
We had
Go.
We had a kid from Czechoslovakia that worked here years ago. It just killed me. It's so funny. He was working on his MBA, and he quit to go to college in another location. And he emailed me about 3 weeks later, and he goes, I needed money for my tuition. I couldn't figure out what to do. He said, I went to a garage sale, and it was a Nike shoe sales guy, and he had all the samples. And he said, I bought an entire garage of shoes for like $200. And he said, I just finished selling them all on eBay for $34,000.
Good grief.
I'm going to college. What a country. And what a country, like a classic line, Because he's like, there's so much abundance here, and everybody's standing around. And he went to a garage sale, made one transaction and then another 100 transactions on eBay, and goes to college. What a country.
You're right.
But instead we tell people, oh, no, you got to wait on Biden bucks. Because you're just screwed if the government's going to get you out. And that's really the underlying evil of people stealing people's hope.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the baby steps
disempowering
theme hour. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be a rock star. Less than 1% of millionaires have recognizable household names. And you don't have to be a high GPA. We find the average GPA is slightly above 3. And now we don't find 1.5. You do have to have some gray matter to be able to pull this off. You got to have a brain, okay? Dumb doesn't work, all right? So, but also you don't have to be a 4.2, and I'm not a, I graduated, thank you, Lottie, okay? So that's, that's what you're after here. So, the thing is you say, okay, what do I attribute this to? And the first two said, I'm debt-free, my 401k, live on less than I make, unified with my spouse. The stuff we teach around here every day. And that's the baby steps millionaires. And that's what these people are. And they're every age, every location. And the moral of the story is you can do it too.